Let me jump right into these little adorable mummy cupcakes. It's a chocolate cupcake topped with a Swiss buttercream frosting. I start off by sifting a cup of all-purpose flour along with half a cup of granulated sugar and half a cup of Dutch processed cocoa powder here. I need a teaspoon of baking powder and a quarter teaspoon of baking soda. And then sift this all together. Now I'll set that aside while I combine my wet ingredients. So I need half a cup of light brown sugar, and I'll put that in a separate bowl, and I'll measure 1/3 cup of milk. 1 or 2% is fine here. A little bit of oil, 1/4 cup. I need some sour cream now, half a cup. Use full fat. A single egg, and a teaspoon of vanilla. Grab a whisk here, and I'll whisk all the wet ingredients first, and then I'll add everything to the dry mixture. And I just whisk this together by hand. First, to combine the ingredients slowly, and then I just sort of increase my speed just by hand a little bit to smooth out the batter. There we go, that's nice and smooth and shiny. So it's ready to scoop and bake. I've got my mini cupcake tins lined with paper liners, and you can use a piping bag and pipe in the batter, or a little ice cream scoop makes tidy work of it. So you only fill these cups halfway. When I'm planning Halloween treats, I always plan quantities. I live in a neighborhood that has tons of trick-or-treaters. We average 150 to 200 on Halloween night. You've got to have the treats on hand. The great thing about mini cupcakes, they take no time to bake, only 15 minutes in a 350 oven. These smelled so good when they were baking, and I let them cool completely in the tin. And once they've cooled, they're ready to decorate. So I love a Swiss buttercream to top cupcakes like this. I start off with 4 egg whites in a mixing bowl, and I add to that 1 1/3 cups of granulated sugar. A Swiss meringue is made by heating your egg whites and sugar together. So I've got a water bath here. I'll get that simmering. And as I whisk it, the sugar will dissolve into the whites, and the egg whites will heat up. And I bring this up to 165. That way, I know the egg whites are fully cooked. So let me check that I've hit 165. Yes. Once you put them in the mixer or use electric beaters, that's when it takes on that full, fluffy meringue character. So I'm just gonna whip these on high speed until they're cool to room temperature. And I check just by feeling the outside of the bowl. I can feel the meringue has cooled nicely. I've softened my 1½ cups of unsalted butter, and I'll add it a bit at a time as I'm mixing. After you've added the butter, you want to give your frosting a good 2 to 3 minutes on high speed to really mix out. While I've got the mixer paused, I'm gonna pour in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That's great. I could see it drop just a little bit, so that's when I knew the buttercream was mixed. Now for the fun part, the piping. Got my cake stand, my candy mummy eyeballs here, and I have a piping bag fitted with a flower petal tip. I find when it's Halloween decorating season, I like to make lots of things like frosting. So you may find this is more frosting than you need for this recipe, but you can just package it up and chill it. Then you just thaw it to room temperature, give it a little whipping up, and then it's ready to pipe again. All right, cupcake time. To pipe your mummy, start off by piping an X, and then fasten on the eyeballs. And then you start piping over top. But you layer on the frosting until you have that completed mummy face. Each one has their own personality. Boo! This one looks a little scared. That means he's first to be eaten. I love Halloween treats like this because it's a small bite of something sweet and satisfying.